Hello everyone. Here we are at lesson 10. We are about halfway through the course, exactly halfway through the course. And yeah, we've been having a lot of very important lessons and very important key skills. Today we're going to be going through a lot of very, very good vocabulary. Today is going to be mainly a vocabulary lesson. There's a lot of very cool idiomatic language and also the idea of helping others. That is the kind of idea topic that we're going to talk about. Yeah, let's get right into it. Today's lesson is very important because the vocabulary for this lesson is quite universal. You can use it for basically any topic. You can use it in a lot of situations. Really good stuff. Once again, I am still sick, so I apologize for coughing and sounding weird, but I'm trying my best. The more off schedule we get, the worse life gets. So yeah. Let's get into it. The first word that we're going to talk about is beneficence. Beneficence. I am actually, one second. I'm like 90% sure that I know how to pronounce this word, but I don't want to make like a stupid mistake. Beneficence. I've literally heard this word before. I just got to make sure. One second. Beneficence, pronunciation. Beneficence. Beneficence. What? Okay, it's beneficence. We're fine. Everything's okay. Yeah. So beneficence comes from the word benefits. Benefit means, of course, to be some kind of like positive, some kind of good, something that is like a plus for somebody else. That's called a benefit, and beneficence is kind of like the next step from that. Beneficence is when you're talking about, oh, by the way, Ukraine. Beneficence is like whenever you are giving and doing a lot of good. That's kind of like the whole topic. So somebody's beneficence, for example. Next word is charity. Charity is an organization. It's some kind of, it can also be an adjective. You can use it as an adjective to talk about like something that is done for charity. That is also called a charity something something. So for example, like you can say, we're doing a charity marathon, which means that like while you're running, you're collecting donations from other people, and then you're going to donate that money to some kind of organization. That's called a charity marathon. So in general, the word charity is talking about like the act of giving other people money for free, the act of like, basically giving money. Next is a favor. So favor is kind of similar to charity, but also it's different, very different. Favor is like, doing something for somebody, but usually you also want them to do something for you. So for example, like if you tell somebody, hey, do me a favor, that means like, hey, can you basically do something for me? Like, can you help me with something? So for example, like, John did me a favor by by giving me some bread for free, something like that. So favor just basically means like a, some kind of like giving, basically. But usually favor is something that you want to have back. So yeah. Let's continue. Kindness. Kindness, I think that kind of makes sense. Kindness kind of makes sense, but apologies. One more definition of kindness and one other way to use it is actually to talk about like financial benefits, I guess, financial pluses. Like for example, whenever some kind of charity gives money somewhere, you can say that they're like spreading kindness, or they are being kind, even though they're just giving money. So giving money is basically a synonym of kindness. Yeah, kind of funny, but yeah, this is the society that we live in. Let's continue. Philanthropy. Philanthropy. There's another noun which is kind of similar. Philanthropist. Philanthropy and philanthropist pertains to like a person who is giving money in very large amounts. Usually somebody who's very rich, and they give money to some kind of charity. So for example, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is rich. He's very rich, no doubt about it. He earns some of the most money, like from all people in the world, he's one of the richest. But also he gives over 90%, as far as I remember, more than 90% of all of his money to like different kinds of charity organizations. So he is a philanthropist. He's just giving away his money. It's like money, and he just gives it away. That's actually going to be me after 2 years. Anyway, benevolence. Benevolence comes from the word benevolent. I'm actually going to write that down. Benevolence. That's also a good word. Benevolent, and the opposite of that being malevolent. Yeah. So benevolent means like basically good. I think it's the same root as the word benefit because it's like benefits, benevolent. I think it's the same root. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. And basically, it means like somebody being nice, somebody meaning to do well, somebody wanting to do good things. That person is benevolent. They are like a good person, basically. So that's what the word benevolence comes from. Next is the word assist. Assist means to help somebody, to support someone, some kind of organization or a person. It can be anyone. If you are basically giving them money, if you're trying to help them in some way, you are assisting them. So assistance is the noun form of this word. Assistance. Assistance. Okay. Let's continue. Support. Support can have several different meanings. So the first meaning is like to approve of somebody. This means like you agree with somebody's opinion. So for example, I support Hillary Clinton. That means that like I believe the same things that Hillary Clinton believes. I think that she is correct. The things that she says are correct. But also support can be the same as assist. It can be a synonym of the word assist. So keep in mind it's a noun and a verb at the same time. So you can say like, I am supporting you with support. So it's like, I'm giving you support. Yeah. Basically support means to like help somebody with money or any kind of like problem or situation. What is wrong with the camera? Is everything fine? What is this? Sorry, I'm using my phone today, so I think the quality is a little bit higher than usual, but it's also a little bit like worse because there's bad internet here. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's continue. Next is going to be the word helpful. So helpful is an adjective. I think that kind of makes sense. Oh no, sorry. Next one is help out. Help out is a phrasal verb, which means that it's a noun plus a verb plus a preposition together. The word out means like outside, but when you combine these words together, what it means is you are helping somebody out of some kind of situation, or you are just helping somebody, basically. And you can say help someone out, or you can say help out someone. Both of them are correct. So you can say help out John or help John out of his situation, something like that. Both of those are correct. This basically means to help somebody. Usually it can be money, not necessarily money. All of these are basically like synonyms. So help out, support, assist, all of these are synonyms. Yeah. Let's continue. Next one, helpful. Helpful is a person who wants to give his money to other people. Money. They are helpful. They are a kind person. They are benevolent. All these are good synonyms. Good-hearted and generous. Also similar, but the word generous is an academic word. I really recommend you to use this on your test. At least once. You should find a place, most likely. Generous basically means somebody who wants to give more. Just more and more and more. And it can be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. You can say that somebody is generous with their time. Somebody is generous with their efforts. Somebody is generous with whatever. So generous just basically means giving more and more and more. So yeah, it can also be with money though. Keep that. Sorry. Emergency aid. This is like helping somebody or helping some kind of organization or some kind of maybe country, for example. Even though if it's a country, usually we say foreign aid. So foreign aid is like whenever, for example, Africa doesn't have enough water, so we send money so they can buy water, something like that. That's foreign aid, but emergency aid is just like helping somebody, person, some organization, anyone in a situation when they need money. Overseas aid. Yeah, there we go. So foreign or overseas aid. These are both synonyms. I'm not going. Assistance, we covered that. To be of any assistance. This is kind of like I guess a phrasal verb. It's not really a phrasal verb. It's just like a phrase that native speakers say. Basically, one way that you can describe like helping somebody and assisting somebody is you can say to be of assistance. So for example, like if you're helping somebody, nope, 10 seconds. Okay. If you're helping somebody, you can say like, can I be of any assistance to you? Can I be helpful to you in some way? And this phrase can be used to talk about money. As always, this whole topic, all of this, is kind of connected to charity and to money. Mainly, those are the two topics of today. But in this case, to be of any assistance, you can use this to talk about helping in any kind of situation, any kind of problem. Yeah, literally anything. And I think like this can be used in a lot of situation topics when you have like on your IELTS test, for example, for your speaking. A lot of them are like, please describe a time when you helped someone. And like literally you can just say, well, one time when I was of assistance, so that's the correct structure. When I was of assistance to my uncle was when he was trying to fix his house because his house was broken, and I helped him by giving him my hammer, something, whatever. Yeah. Let's continue. Charitable. Same as the word charity. Charitable is a person who can be charitable is a person who can give to charity. A person who is generous. A person who is willing to give their money. They're going to give whatever they have. That is a charitable person. Yeah. Let's continue. Underprivileged. In general, this is a kind of hot topic, especially in the US right now. The topic of privilege. The word privilege has several different meanings. The first meaning you can use to talk about, like, for example, feature, like benefit. So, for example, imagine you have two different university courses. One is the normal version, one is the privilege version. The normal version, you can just, study in the university. The privilege version, you can also get extra lessons with the professors at the university. It's like the extra version, basically. So the concept of privilege in modern discourse, in modern conversations, the concept of privilege is talking about people that have some kind of benefit. So there's this very large idea. I'm not going to be able to explain the whole idea to you today, but the idea is called white privilege. Basically means that like people that are white, they are given benefits because they're born, basically. Just because they're alive, they have some kind of benefits. Yeah. It's a very big political topic in the US right now, privilege. If you're interested, you should Google this. You are actually kind of interesting thing, by the way, just for all of you to know, you are never going to get a topic on your IELTS test that is outside of your zone of comfort culturally. Something that's like very interesting is that in Europe, there's a lot of like IELTS questions that are connected to like race and a lot of like modern issues. Whereas in Uzbekistan, actually, I noticed that it's been kind of proven that they don't really ask any questions that are outside of your cultural zone of comfort. So they're not going to ask anything about like, race. Like that's not really that big of an issue in Uzbekistan. So that's why they don't actually cover that. So cool topic. But basically, yeah, underprivileged is somebody who is in need. So privilege could be like three things. Number one is like some kind of benefit. Number two is like a cultural issue. And number three, privileged means has money. Somebody who has money. And underprivileged is somebody who does not have any money, like me. Let's continue. Transparent. Transparent is, first of all, it's an adjective. But transparent is what you use to describe some kind of bottle of water, for example, which you can see through. Like, for example, this. You see this is transparent. You can see my hand. It's transparent. So you can also describe a business or a government or any kind of organization as transparent. And this means that the organization gives their information about what they're doing to the people. So the people, anybody can like look and find out what is the organization doing? How much money are they earning? What are they doing with that money? That is a transparent organization. An organization that does not give that information is not transparent. Yeah. And this is my fifth energy drink today, and 5. I will die of heart disease whenever I reach 15 years old. I will be like a small baby and I'll die. Okay, let's continue. Compassionate. Compassionate comes from the word compassion. Compassion means kindness that comes from understanding. So, for example, when you understand how somebody feels, and then you try to help them because you understand how they feel, that is compassion. So, for example, like imagine you were homeless one day, right? And later you stop being homeless, But then next time you see a homeless person, you say, oh, wow, man, I know what it's like to be homeless. I'm going to help him. Now you are compassionate. In general, you don't necessarily have to have gone through the same situation, but it just means that somebody who feels the same kind of emotions. That is a compassionate person. Let's continue. Volunteer. It can be a verb and a noun. This is one page. Oh my God. It can be a verb and a noun. So volunteer, the verb, means you are helping some kind of organization for free. You don't get any money. The noun version is a person who is volunteering. They're not getting any money. Let me give you a couple sentences using these words so that I think we're kind of like on the same page. Let's start with this. There's a lot of charity organizations that rely on multimillionaires and their philanthropy these days. I have found that several Australian organizations rely only on the support and assistance of millionaires such as Elon Musk, who do these companies favors by giving them money without any strings attached. Is that here? One sec. We need to check. No, it's not here. I'm going to write it right here. Oh my God, I'm going to die today. No strings attached. No strings attached is a great idiom, and it's used to describe some kind of like person or some kind of action or something that doesn't require anything else. So for example, imagine like you give somebody a gift, and then 10 days later you say, hey, remember I gave you a gift? Pay me money right now. Give me money right now. And it's like, it's a gift. It's not a real gift because you gave it to them so that they would give you money. That is called strings attached. If you just get something for free and then nothing happens after that, then that is no strings attached. This basically means like without any secret something. Without any secrets, basically. Yeah, so really cool phrase. Recommend you to use it. Let's continue. I'm going to be choosing some more important words. Give money, save money. Cool words. I think these ones make sense. You probably understand them already. And spend money. These are the verbs that we use to talk about money. That makes sense. You learn this when you're in elementary school. Donation. Donation is a noun which describes the money that some company gets. Whenever you give money to a company, that money, the noun of that money is called donation. This is actually a good word. I'm going to bold this word. This word is not part of the lesson today, but actually I'm going to underline it because it's a good word. Alleviating. Alleviating comes from the word alleviate. Alleviate, as far as I understand, I think the root of the word is like this, I think, but that's not really going to tell you much. But as far, basically the meaning of the word is to lift some kind of difficulty or some kind of problem or some kind of like heavy weight. So for example, imagine that you have to, you have a house and you need to pay like $2,000 for the house every single day. So somebody one day they come to you and they say, hey, here's the money, take the house, it's free, keep it, it's for you. That alleviates the problem. It takes away the problem. Alleviate is like, imagine it takes the weight off of your shoulders. So alleviate just means to take the weight off of some kind of problem. Really cool word, recommend you to use it. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Chef's kiss, if I say so myself. Next is sponsor and sponsorship. Sponsorship is like the whole topic, I guess. It can be a topic word to talk about like sponsors, people who pay money for something. This can be in a lot of situations. You can sponsor some kind of organization. You can sponsor a person. You can sponsor a football team, for example. Sponsorship just basically means like the whole topic of giving money to somebody for something. Whereas the sponsor is actually the person who gives money or the funds. By the way, funds is a synonym for money, mainly. One of the biggest synonyms. Gives money to some kind of organization for something. So sponsor is like money person. Person with money. Yeah. Let's continue. Local charity. If you remember, we talked about charity. Usually charities are massive organizations where in order to actually run the company, in order to have the company functioning, they need to actually take some of the money that are given, some of the money that is given for the cause, right? So for example, like if you have an organization like Aid for Africa, where you're giving money to children in Africa, for example, the company actually takes like some percent of that money because they need to, find those people. So they have to like have their own kind of costs. And so basically it's like these massive charities, sometimes they take a lot of money for that. Whereas local charities are usually created by like a small group of people in some kind of area. In general, the word local means in a small area. And so basically a local charity is like a small charity organization where people give money for like a local problem, a problem in some kind of area. So for example, in Uzbekistan, I know that there's a very popular charity about animals. Like there's a lot of animals that are in animal shelters, and all of that is like a one big charity basically because of that problem that animals are facing. Let's continue. To take part in charity work. To take part in charity work means to kind of help charity work whenever there's like some kind of charity problem. And whenever you're taking part in charity work, you are helping the charity. And this can be like, for example, animal shelters. Again, in Uzbekistan, I actually have a lot of friends. I don't know why, but a lot of my friends and a lot of the people that I know in Uzbekistan, they all go to the same animal shelter, like for dogs. I think it's mainly for dogs. And they all help there, and they are taking part in charity work. So yeah, cool phrase, good kind of topic as a whole. I recommend you, as just in general, to learn about the charities that are local to your area. Because other than that, like animal shelter charity, I am like 99% sure that there's more charities in Uzbekistan. So if you research them, I think it would be good for you. Yeah. Let's get into this charity. Okay. Okay, yeah. So real quick, two things. So today we're going to be watching a video on the topic of, actually here, let's do that. I'm going to ask you guys this. So I assume that some of you are probably interested in sports. Some of you probably like, sports. And one of the most popular sports is boxing. And I think probably some of you guys know Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is one of the most popular, if not the most popular boxers. Personally, I respect him a lot. Raise your hand in the chat if you know about Muhammad Ali, if you know like his name at least, and you've heard of him, Muhammad Ali, the boxer. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's good. Muhammad Ali is like really cool. So let's do this. There's two videos that I think are very interesting. I'm going to send a poll into the chat right now. First, let me explain what the videos are. So the first video is about how the rich avoid paying taxes. So what this is basically, at least in the US, there's a very large system where if you are giving money for charity, you actually don't have to pay that money in taxes. There's no taxes on charity, right? The government doesn't take money from charities. So basically, the way that's Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, how they save their money is by going through charities. And there's a lot of information about this. Basically, they're breaking the system in order to save their money. So this is one topic, and the second one is just Muhammad Ali, I think. Okay. The second one is just about Muhammad Ali. I cannot actually find. Sorry, I thought this one was about charity, but okay, it is what it is. I still think it could be an interesting topic here. What video do we watch today? Okay, so go into the chat, answer the poll right now, and then we're going to choose which video we are going to watch. In general, both videos are really interesting. So, yeah, just good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, there's 14 votes. I'm going to wait until it gets to 50 votes, and then I'll show the video. Okay, there's 20 votes. Remember to please go into the chat right now and choose whichever option you like more. So whether you want to watch a video about Muhammad Ali or about how rich people break the tax system. In general, the topic for today is actually about charity. So one of them is more, suited to the topic than the other. Okay, I think there's around 37% to 63%. I think we're going to watch the video about rich people. So let's do that. I'm going to turn on the video and then yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I have shared system audio. If you are interested in watching the other video, this is the name. Muhammad Ali's biggest fights were outside the ring. If you're interested in this video, you should watch it. I'm pretty sure we have a topic about sports coming up later, so maybe we'll watch this video anyway. But yeah, cool video. Recommend you to watch it. So here we go. Raise your hand if you can hear it.
This is Warren Buffett, one of...
Okay, can you hear it? Raise your hand in the chat if you can hear it. Okay, perfect. I'll take that as a yes. Let's get into it. Let's watch the video. Are the subtitles big enough?
This is Warren.
Good. So I think you can see the subtitles. Let's get into it. Let's watch the video. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, thanks to the company he runs, Berkshire Hathaway. Basically, it's a holding company that just owns a bunch of other companies, Geico, Dairy Queen, a huge railroad, as well as a lot of stock in other companies like Apple and Coca-Cola. So when those companies do well and their stock goes up, Berkshire Hathaway stock goes up. When Buffett took over the company in 1965, a single share was worth $19. Today, it's worth nearly $500,000. Buffett owns nearly 240,000 of these shares. This is where his wealth is. But as he's been known for pointing out, Warren Buffett still pays a lower tax rate than his secretary.
She pays at twice the rate I pay. I think that's outrageous.
That's because they pay different types of taxes. His secretary pays income taxes on her salary, but Buffett mainly pays capital gains taxes on his sold stock, and that's taxed at nearly half the rate.
The wealthy are definitely undertaxed.
In the U.S., the disparity between the richest Americans and everyone else has been growing. And in the last 40 years, the after-tax income of the richest has risen more than 400%, while middle-class income has only risen 50%. The way these people make money is very different than the way these people make money. And they're not taxed the same.
I pay less in taxes than people that work for a living and make as much money as I do.
This is Morris. He used to work on Wall Street. Now he's retired and lives off investments.
I own stock in companies, Berkshire Hathaway and Amazon and Apple.
He's a pretty typical one-percenter, except that he spends his money advocating for rich people like him to be taxed more.
I want to live in a country filled with a middle class of people who can all afford to shop in our businesses.
Most people have a normal job. They get a paycheck and pay income tax, ranging from 10 to 37%. But people like Morris, they make a lot of their income from investments, generally stocks and real estate. These investments are taxed as capital gains, and things like long-term stock have a maximum tax rate of just 20%.
I sold some stock recently for $400,000, and my taxes on that is around $50,000. But that $50,000 is far less tax than anyone who has a job making $400,000 a year would pay.
And most of his wealth, well, isn't even taxable. People like Morris or Buffett are worth so much money because of the stock that they hold, but it's not tangible, spendable, taxable money.
I can look at my stock portfolio and I can say, oh, I made $1 million this year, but it doesn't mean I have to pay anything in taxes, because our system is based on only paying taxes when you actually sell something.
Amazon's Jeff Bezos, the richest man in America thanks mostly to his Amazon stock, pays almost nothing in taxes. We value his worth here, but it's never taxed unless it's turned into real money when he sells the stock, and it's taxed as a capital gain. This is one way billionaires are able to be technically worth so much money, but pay so little in taxes. Some billionaires like Elon Musk are able to get loans against their stocks and live off of that. They don't even need to sell the stock to turn it into spendable money. No sale, no taxes.
The fact is, if you're a billionaire, you don't need any income.
There's also a big loophole in capital gains taxes that the rich exploit called the stepped-up basis. If, hypothetically, Warren Buffett were to sell his stock, he'd have to pay capital gains taxes based on his profit, so the cost of the stock minus the original investment. But if he holds off selling his entire life, when he dies, whoever inherits the stock and then sells it would only have to pay taxes on what they earned after they inherited it, leaving all those original gains untaxed. It's part of what's called buy, borrow, die, and it's one way the richest families avoid paying taxes. It's this system and the fact that most taxable capital gains are going to the top 1% that lawmakers see changing the capital gains tax as an easy way to tax the rich. President Biden has proposed closing that stepped-up loophole and increasing the maximum tax rate from 20% to 39.6%, but just for people making more than $1 million a year. Critics argue that it may discourage people from investing in the stock market, or that current millionaires would just sell less stock. But it would bring in more tax revenue, from more conservative estimates of $200 billion over 10 years to double that. It would also mean Buffett would pay a closer tax rate to his secretary. But this pile of unrealized money still goes untaxed.
There's a lot of things we could do to make the system more fair. We could have taxes on wealth. We could have taxes on gains in the stock market.
Most Americans are bothered that wealthy people don't pay their fair share, and changing capital gains taxes wouldn't be the whole solution, but advocates argue it would be an easy place to start.
Our system is making the rich richer and richer and richer, and everyone else just not.
On October 24th, 1929, the American stock market crashed.
The New York Stock Exchange is in a panic. Frantic investors have scrambled to unload their stocks at any price.
Fortunes disappeared overnight, and the value of American companies tanked. But the people in charge of those companies had an idea. They started buying shares of their own company stock from investors, which meant that there were fewer stocks out there for other people to buy. And when there's less of something, the price goes up. Normally, to raise their stock prices, these companies would have had to do something to get investors excited, invent a new product or a different way of doing things. But with this, corporations had discovered a kind of magic trick. They could jack up their stock price without really doing anything. This is a stock buyback, an attempt by the owners of America's biggest corporations to hang on to their wealth while the rest of the country suffered the worst depression ever. This practice helped fundamentally
I apologize for being late. I was in the bathroom and I started like throwing up. I think I'm more sick than I thought I was. I'm gonna go see a doctor tomorrow probably because I don't feel good at all. That's not good. That's not good. I have to see a doctor. Anyway, let's finish today's lesson. I apologize for leaving for so long. Yeah, let's continue. That is not a fun time. So hopefully that video was kind of interesting. I've seen that video myself before. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Let me share the screen of the lesson. Okay. Yes. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, let's go over a little bit more vocab, and then we're gonna finish on some idiomatic language and then some ideas. Oh wait, here actually, sorry. Today we're also gonna have to answer some questions. Okay, we'll get to that. We have time. We'll be fine. Okay. So first of all is the phrase. Here we go. This one's good. Where is it? To make a difference. So to make a difference is a great phrase when you want to talk about like giving important help. So for example, like if you're talking about somebody who's charitable and they're giving a lot of money to charity, you can say that they are making a difference. One moment, let me make a post so that everybody who left can come back. Okay. Basically, to make a difference is talking about like any kind of person who is making significant change, like important change, real change. You can say that they are making a difference. But if you're talking about like somebody who just kind of helps a little bit, that's not really make a difference. Make a difference specifically is talking about somebody who has a big impact. Yeah. Let's continue. Part of a community. In general, I think that this is going to be one of the most popular phrases that people use on IELTS. At least it's one of the phrases that I use a lot. Like, in this case, part of a community. You can use this in a lot of situations. You can talk about, like, if you get the topic of, let's say, community on your part 3, you can use this a lot. If you get, like, on part 1, there's a lot of topics, like, you can say part of a family, right? Part of a family, part of a group, part of a community. Part of a is just a great kind of collocation. People say that a lot in English. Now let's continue. 2 words that are adjectives that are kind of similar are voluntary and involuntary. So these are both kind of similar. Voluntary is talking about something that's done because somebody wants to do it. So for example, like voluntary work, like you're working because you want to, not because you have to. Or voluntary service, like you're going to the army because you want to, not because you have to. Involuntary is the opposite of that. Involuntary basically means like you have to, you are forced to, and you don't have any options, you don't have any choices. So yeah, let's continue. Next is going to be strengthens social connections, and I guess this one as well. Strengthens social connections is it's a phrase that you can use to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to use both of these in a sentence right now. Strengthens social connections means like something that helps people connect with each other. Whereas spontaneous acts of kindness, this word, I think, spontaneous acts, this basically means something that just happens. Some kind of like, for example, like when you go on the street and you see someone homeless, you see that they want food, so you just give them money spontaneously. Like you were not planning this before. Spontaneous means without any previous plans. So let me give you an example sentence. There is a very big community of people that are doing spontaneous acts of kindness on the internet, such as Mr. Beast, who goes out and gives money to homeless people. I think that these kinds of charities strengthen social connections between the upper classes and the lower classes. and they make people more interconnected. So yeah, let's continue. Let's do a couple more of these. Altruism. Altruism is a synonym of what was that word? Philanthropy. Yeah, altruism and philanthropy are kind of similar. Altruism basically means selfless concern for other people. Like, you are more worried about other people than you are about yourself. You really want other people to be happy, but you don't really care about what happens to you. It doesn't mean that you necessarily want bad things to happen to you, but it just means that other people are more important for you. Yeah. So yeah, like selfless concern, basically. Yeah. Decency. Decency can be used in a lot of different situations, but decency comes from the word decent. Decent means good. Decent basically means like some kind of behavior, some kind of act, maybe some kind of spontaneous act, some kind of situation, something you do that is good. So decent behavior is behavior that is like socially good, socially accepted. Okay, let's move on. These phrases are all great. I recommend you to learn them. We're gonna actually move on from them. We're gonna move on to this one is also really nice. I recommend you learn that. We're gonna move on to some questions. I want you to read this. Just read this for yourself. For homework, here's what I want you to do. So read this text, 10 benefits of volunteering. And maybe some of you already volunteer. Some of you maybe give money to homeless people. Some of you are maybe already kind to other people. Some of you maybe not. I'm not like, saying somebody is good, somebody's a bad person. What I want you to do is I want you to choose one of these, and I want you to say one of two things. Either one or two. I want you to say, why do I volunteer? So if you already do good things for other people, why? Which of these reasons? Or maybe you have your own reason, right? I want you to write some kind of like essay, short essay, on one of these topics. Or I want you to write about if I volunteered, why? So if I did, in the future, for example. Also choose one of these or think of your own reason. A lot of different like possibilities. Choose one of these and read the whole text, and then you can choose. Okay, let's get to the speaking part of today. I'm going to be choosing 3 people. 3 people. Please raise your hands if you want to be speaking. Dilfuza Shukuratovna, Sadulayeva Narshoda, and Michael. Okay, so I want you guys to choose a part. Here, I'll be choosing the part 3 questions, and what I want you guys to do. Sorry, I apologize. Oh, my throat. What is happening? Okay, perfect. Yes, I actually turned off the music. Okay. Oh. Okay. I should be able to hear them then. Okay, so Dilfuza, can you please say hi if you can hear me?
Oh.
Perfect. I can hear you. Great. Okay, cool. So, yes, I'm going to choose one of the questions. You 3 people, Dilfuza, Sadulayeva Narshoda, and Michael, I want you to listen for the vocabulary, the phrases, and the ideas that I'm using. I'm going to try my best to answer using the topics that you have found, the topics that you can find in the lesson. I'm also going to be trying my best to use as much vocabulary from the lesson as possible as well. So, let's get into it. Yeah. So the first question is this. Here's the first question. Who benefits more from volunteer services? Volunteers or people helped? I think that to take part in charity work, you already have to be a very well-rounded individual. Food banks, local and international charities, all these organizations require a person to be very vigilant, require a person to be very well built and very ready in order to tackle difficult life situations. Whenever you go out into the field in Africa or in any kind of country where you have to fix difficult problems when you're volunteering, you have to have a very high level of inner strength in order to actually go through those situations. So I think that depending on the charity, most charities actually benefit a lot more from volunteers rather than volunteers benefit from those organizations, because I think in terms of the personal benefits, the personality benefits and the personal development, those people already have to be very well built if they are participating in those kinds of welfare systems. So, all right, let's start with Dilfuza. So, Dilfuza, what kind of vocabulary did you hear?
First one is take part in charity work, well-rounded, vigilant, tackle difficult life situations.
What kind of difficult life situations? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
What kind of difficult life situations?
I couldn't remember it.
Nah, that's okay. I think I said, I can't remember as well. Something, difficult life situations. Okay. Inner strength, continue.
Volunteer, personal development, welfare, something. I couldn't understand what I have written now.
That's fair. Okay, but good job for writing some things down. Yeah, take part means to like do something basically. Well-rounded is some kind of person who has a lot of very good personal qualities. Vigilant means they're always careful, always watching. Inner strength is like an adjective, a noun which is used to describe like some kind of person who is very strong. Personal development is like somebody who, not somebody necessarily, but it's like the process of becoming a better person, basically. Like somebody who is more strong, somebody who can go through more difficult situations. And welfare systems are the systems where you like support different kinds of people in need. Yeah. Let's continue. Next person is Sadaliva. So thank you so much, Dilfuza. Sadaliva Nershota, what kind of vocabulary did you hear me use?
I heard well-rounded, local and international charities, inner strength, and personal development.
Okay, cool. Did you hear anything else other than this list?
No.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Wait, here, one sec. Did you hear any of the ideas that I was using?
I can't remember.
That's fair. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much. Okay, and Mr. Michael, what about you? Me and Michael. Da, 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 da. Michael, you have 2 seconds to answer before I'm going to shoot you. Answer right now. Michael, where are you? Michael, wake up. Michael, wake up. Okay, Michael is sleeping. It is what it is. All right, so those are some pretty good vocab words. Let's move on to the next group of people. Okay. Ozod John Bektimirov, you're going to be next. Also, Dildora, you're going to be next. And Elmoradova Nazli, you're going to be next. So you three, please listen to my vocabulary and the ideas that I'm using and try to write down as many as you can so that you can tell me them later. So I'm going to be answering the next question. Let's get into it. Here's the next question. Do you think people nowadays should participate more in volunteering? I think that in order to connect with our communities and in order to live harmoniously with the people around us, we need to be able to give as much as we take. There's a lot of things that we actually don't know around us that are given to us for free because of other people's volunteering and because of other people's goodwill, because of other people's good intentions. And so I think that in order to live well with other people, even if you're needy, even if you're not needy, in any case, you need to be able to give things for free. I think that's very important. And I think that by putting a price on everything in society, things become more difficult for everybody, not just for poor people, but also for rich people. Even though, of course, their lives are usually much more simple than other people's lives. In any case, though, I think that there's a lot of groups of people that already volunteer a lot. I think it's just about normalizing volunteering for people that aren't already invested in spending their time on volunteering and that are not so maybe generous. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's hear it. Let's start with Michael. Okay, so Azad John, what vocabulary did you hear me use? Please unmute yourself and say hello.
Okay. The first word was, I think, harmony, sleep.
Harmonious. Very good word.
Yeah, harmony. Yeah. And second one is good attention.
Good intention.
Attention. And third one is needy people or needy.
Okay, continue.
And then putting price.
Okay, put a price on everything.
And the last one is normal voluntarization.
Normalize. That's a good word. Normalize.
Yeah, normalize volunteer.
Yeah. Volunteer. I think I said volunteer-based. Yeah, volunteer-based work. Like the work that people do usually whenever they're volunteering. Awesome, great vocabulary. Thank you so much, Victor. I will explain these words. Okay, let's move on. Okay, Dildora, please say hi if you can hear me.
Hi.
Yo. Okay, so yeah.
To connect, live harmoniously, give as much as we take, putting in price to everything, normalizing volunteering, and good intention, I guess, and inner strength. I think
awesome.
I heard it.
Well, I definitely said it last time, but yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Great stuff. Good. Okay, thank you. And last person, El Murodovanozli. Please say hi if you can hear me.
Okay, hi. Harmoniously, retake, good attention, society, normalizing volunteering, to connect, put a price on everything. Okay, that's all.
Good. Okay, society. We live in a society. Good, thank you. Okay, and let's move on to lastly part 2, and then afterwards I will explain all the vocab that I've been using. I'm going to answer the part 2 without preparation. I recommend you guys to go through the part 2 yourself and try to prepare for this topic because this is one of the most difficult topics. Here's who I want to listen to the vocab for part 2. As always, Muslima, Nasiba Burieva, and let me choose one more person. Let me see who else. Please raise your hand if you want to listen to my vocab for part 2, and then you can tell me what words I've been using. Anybody else from today? Okay, Karimova Gulinur. Gulinur. Karimova Gulinur. Okay, cool. So 3 people, please listen to my vocab. Let's get into it. I'm going to be answering the topic of. Okay, the topic is describe a time when you helped a child. I've actually answered this topic before, but to be honest, I forgot what I said, so I'm going to have to think about this myself right now. Oh, yeah, I remember, okay. Let me start the timer on my computer. Give me 1 moment. 1 moment. So here's the timer. 2 minutes has started. Let's get into it. I would like to tell you a bit about a time when I helped a child. And I wouldn't necessarily say that it was like a volunteering situation, because it was actually one of my students who was the child that I was helping. And I helped him in quite a lot of different ways, but mainly I helped him by teaching him how to read well. Now, of course, you know, the idea of reading well can be kind of complicated, but basically all I did was I taught him how to persevere, how to focus on his reading, how to improve it consistently, and how he can take enjoyment out of reading. Because I found that when we started, he really hated reading. He didn't enjoy it at all. He found that for him, reading was a chore. It wasn't anything that you know, he liked. And so what I did was we went through some different popular fiction series, a lot of books that aren't necessarily historical and that aren't going to help him with his school, but are going to make him like to read more. I think we went through Harry Potter, we went through Arthur Pendragon, which is one of my favorite books personally, and we read all of that together, and through that he learned to appreciate much more the art and the beauty behind writing. And for me, this was a very emotional moment, because I've never really shared something so personal with somebody else. And being able to kind of go through some of my own favorite literature, being able to share these kinds of like popular works of art, basically, and to have him react to them, to have him understand the significance and the value in terms of the value of preserving these great works of art. It was really a satisfying thing for me as well. So that's a time when I helped a child. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get into it. Let's start with Karimova Gulinur. Please say hi if you can hear me. What vocab did you hear me use?
Hi. Hi.
Hi. I can hear you. What vocab did you hear me use?
The words I managed to catch are, more difficult words. Volunteering situation, consistently, take enjoyment, went through, and preserving. That's all.
Awesome. Good. Yes. Good. Awesome. Okay. Next person is going to be. Who else was there? There was another person. Nasiba Burieva, please say hi if you can hear me.
Hi.
Yo. So, what vocab did you hear me use?
Well, I heard that you necessarily say help someone buy something complicated. You said something fiction series. Went through, to appreciate, shared something with someone, and significance and tolerance, I think.
What was the word before that?
Significance. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, significance, yeah. Cool. Awesome. And okay, Muslima, what words did you hear? Thank you so much, Nasiba.
Okay.
Mainly ideas, as usual. And so the person whom you were talking about was the student. You helped the student by teaching read well. So taught how to focus on this sphere, how to take enjoyment from it, and the treatments and the solutions that you did to fix the problem was that you went through different fiction series like Harry Potter and read them together, and you saw how he started appreciate the art in to take enjoyment from all of this, and you enjoyed these emotional moments of sharing with others something that you were capable to do more than others. So helped him and taught the value of perceiving and satisfying time. And what I liked most was like you helped a child to get rid of things that he was suffering with. So, yeah.
Awesome, great job. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Basically the same exact thing I was talking about. You also did write down some of the vocab I was using. Yeah, great job. Remember, all of you in the course, it is very important to be doing this. It's very important to be listening to other people's ideas and trying to write them down the same way that Muslima just did. Because it helps you with retention and it helps you with understanding whenever you're speaking what kind of ideas you're actually using yourself. So, awesome. Great job, Muslima. Really good stuff. Yeah. So let me go through and explain the vocab that I was using, and that's going to be the end of today. Oh, my camera's not on. My camera looks fine. Cool internet technologies. Okay. So these are the ideas that I was using. Cool stuff. If you want to kind of, I don't know, look at this and think about it for later, you can. Yeah. Harmonious. Harmonious means something that is like interconnected between each other. So some kind of like, for example, I can't remember what I was saying. I think harmonious community, something. I don't know. Basically, it means like something that is interconnected well. Good intention is like doing something for a good reason. Needy people is part of the lesson. Put a price on everything means like thinking about everything in terms of money. Yeah, like how much everything costs. Next is normalize, volunteer-based work. Normalize means like make it normal. Make everybody think that this is okay. Connect, I think that makes sense. Give as much as we take, just a pretty cool phrase. Consistently means always the same way. Preserving means saving it for the future. Necessarily means like importantly, I guess. Yeah. Complicated means difficult. Fiction series is like Harry Potter or some kind of book that's like not real. Appreciate means to like something. Share something with someone. I think that makes sense. And lastly, significance is like the importance of something. So yeah, that's about it. Today's lesson was on the topic of today's lesson was on the topic of money, basically. Yeah, finance, stuff like that. And yeah, thank you guys for coming to the lesson. I hope you guys have a great day. That is about it. Have a great night. I had a terrible day today. I went to the bathroom and I threw up. Tomorrow I'm going to see a doctor. I am not feeling very good at all. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.